The Broads Authority, part of the National Park family, is responsible for over 60 broads and 200 kilometres of waterways in Norfolk and Suffolk. To keep them suitable for navigation, 50,000 cubic metres of sediment is dredged each year from these rivers. But what to do with these dredgings is always a challenge. In recent years, the European-funded PRISMA has focused on the improvement of dredging techniques and the potential uses of sediment. One such project was at Salhouse Broad, reusing 12,000 cubic metres of sediment to recreate a reed bed as it was in 1946. At the same time, creating a biodiversity action plan habitat.
The project at Salhouse Broad has really enabled us as landowners to work with the Broads Authority and this PRISMA scheme through Europe to do a scheme that secures the Broad for the long term. Not only is it a home for the dredgings, but it's an indication of partnership with local landowners to ensure the long-term future of the Broad.
The Broads Authority's project manager, William Cooley, is part of the team that came up with the ideas for the spit restoration project at Salhouse Broad.
The project here at Salhouse Broad consists out of several stages. The first stage is the elder pole piling and place them on the water line as it was in 1946. The second stage is to place the TenCate GeoTube units, fill the dredged sediment from the river, and once they're filled, backfill the area with more dredged sediment. The next phase is to transplant vegetation and place it onto the GeoTube units. This will be held in place by the TenCate GeoGrid.
As conventional piling constructions would not be feasible and Alder is local to the Broads, it was the sustainable choice for piling and anchoring points for the geotubes that hold the reclaimed dredgings. The geotubes are an essential aspect of the project. As the Broad is filled with soft sediment to a depth of around 6 metres, the geotubes rely on mass and gravity to stay in place. Once filled, the geotubes would act as underwater retaining structures for the main body of the backfill. First, the dredged sediment was transported to the site by barge, then transferred to a pre-processing unit before being pumped into the geotubes. The filling of a geotube by concrete pump underwater is hugely innovative and was the most challenging aspect of the project, as the fill level of the geotubes directly influences the potential vegetation types. Once the tubes were filled to the correct level, a layer of TenCate geofelt was placed on top to help protect the tubes prior to backfilling and planting. Then it was time for more dredgings to be pumped to provide the backfill as a base for the new reed bed. Once the backfill was completed, it was covered with vegetation scraped from a nature reserve nearby. As the site is designed to flood at high water levels, this only leaves species tolerant to flooding, such as reed-related vegetation. The transplanted material was carefully removed from the donor site, transported by barge, then replanted at its new home in Salhouse. Transplanting of vegetation is one of the quickest ways to establish a good mixture of different and suitable plants. The scrapes itself enhances biodiversity at the donor site, as shallow ponds are created where pioneering species can flourish, and allows the transplanted vegetation to rapidly establish. Young vegetation is targeted by hundreds of foraging geese and cannot establish unless protected. In this case, a goose guard fence and barrier tape worked well to secure the vegetation. The restoration of the entire site is expected to take approximately 2 years, with ongoing monitoring within this time. But already, in the 12 months since work started, the project at Salhouse Broad has received international attention, a certificate of recognition from the Working with Nature initiative, and a recommendation from the Waterways Renaissance Award of the Canals and Rivers Trust for Innovation.
It's now October 2013 and you can see the spit here just behind me. Quite a lot of vegetation has established. We have about 30 species of different vegetation, with the common species like common reed mace and common reed, but also the more rare species like marsh fern, milk parsley, marsh thistles, and marsh nettles as well. Quite a diverse selection. I think over more than 30 species has been recorded last September.
The project at Salhouse demonstrates the Broads Authority's ongoing commitment to develop projects that work with nature, while at the same time maintaining the waterways for future generations to enjoy.